Hey y'all, it's 4 o'clock on a Tuesday, sometime in October, and you are at Rosetree Blown Glass Studio and Gallery's Facebook Live broadcast. We're going to start today. I don't know if you're on our mailing list or not, or if you get our Facebook posts. We are in the middle of, or we just started a virtual pumpkin patch. So today we're going to start off with some of the pieces that are in our pumpkin patch. And what you can see is each piece has a corresponding number, and that number is what's on our website. But if there's a piece that you like in the comment section, just sing out and say that you want this number, and we will reserve it for you. The minis are marked; they are $60 a piece. And the grandes, which are bigger, obviously, are $85 a piece. So you'll see that they're marked mini and then the number. So that you would say, just give me the number 1, and you can see the mini would be $60. So that's the way we're doing this. We had a really successful first day yesterday, and we are going to be making pumpkins every week so that we can replenish the pumpkin patch as often as we need to. So that's what's cooking here. So let's go over to the blowing area and we can tell you what's going on for today. Hi. For those of you who don't know me or who are new here, I'm Mark. I'm the owner of Rosetree Blown Glass Studio and Gallery in his beautiful, historic Algiers Point, New Orleans, Louisiana. I own the business along with my wife Brenda, and we're glad you can join us today and be witness to a little glass magic, as we call it. Today, what we're doing is we're going to be making a pinch bowl. It's not a black one, where you have to have an order for a blue one. So that's the color we're going to be making. So we're going to be making a blue and rainbow pinch bowl, which is this design and that style. So that is what we're going to be making. It'll be a pre-gathered piece, layers on the color on the first layer and the second layer, and then a clear layer over top of that. As always, we love that people are doing separate viewing parties. Is that what we're calling them? Viewing parties.
I think it's watch parties.
Watch parties. See, I was close. The voice behind the camera is Darcy. If you have any questions, you have to ask them on our live. And if you have any glass questions, just put them in your comments, and Darcy will relay them to me, and I will try to answer those for you while I'm working. If you're new here, just welcome, and just sign in on the comments and just say, hey, I'm Jane Doe, and I'm new, and hello, and we'll give you a hello back. So that's what we're going to start doing today, and I will hydrate for a second.
We already have our hellos from Barry and Corey. Corey did not get to be first today. He was unfortunately second. But we still love him. And hello, Jennifer. She's saying hi.
I know we have somebody new who has been watching. Not sure who, I didn't get her name. She was in today and bought a pumpkin.
Oh, yeah.
So she said she watches, and I said, you have to. If you're watching, you got to say hello. So we'll find out who that mystery woman is.
So Doc Rich Weiss said, hey, guys. Barry asked, is it a 3-gather piece?
3-gather. All right, let's go over and start with some glass. So this is my furnace, and this is where all the molten glass is kept. It's 2,050 degrees inside there. So inside is what's called a crucible, which is a large ceramic bowl. When it's full, I can hold up to 400 pounds of molten glass, and we work it down. I don't know, this is about the lowest that we get, so it's about 150 pounds or so in here. That's, like I said, 2,050 degrees. So you have to build layers of glass. For the bigger the piece, the more layers. So it's going to start with our first layer. Each layer is called a gather, because you can gather the glass on the end. And I'm going to coat this in blue.
See, I like that. Barry was learning the language, the lingo.
I know.
Way to study up, Barry.
Okay, so it'll be 3 layers of the chips. The chips are called frit. Each, we have different grade, graded different sizes. So, size 3, 2, 1, then they have a grain, and then a powder. So you kind of keep the sizes kind of consistent within the piece. It just coats better if you're using the same size chips on the same gather.
So Jennifer was asking, how hot is the studio today?
Not bad.
It's not too bad.
I'd say 90, maybe. It's about 85 outside. It's still warm down here. And all week is supposed to be in the mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So not bad. We have plenty of fans going. Actually, I turn a lot of the fans off during the lives, so you don't hear that ambient noise in the background. You hear some, but not as much as there usually is in the studio. And of course, I turn the music off. It's usually very loud in here, except for when we do the lives.
And Barry said it's been almost 2 decades of him learning the lingo, so
okay.
I'm glad it's finally stuck with you. And Doc was asking, what are the chips comprised of?
It's colored glass. So glass is colored the same way you would color a ceramic glaze. It's colored with earth metals. So added to the formula of making the raw glass, they put earth metals in. So like for blue, you would put cobalt in. For pinks, you actually put gold in. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to call the air trap, and I'm going to blow into the end and trap air inside. When the cold air hits the hot glass, it heats up and expands. And because my thumb is covering the end of the pipe, it has nowhere to go. And you will see this is kind of a blind air trap. So I'm just looking at the outside, and you'll slowly see that the bubble is starting to shape the gather. So it's getting fatter here, and that tells me the bubble's inside. When you have just clear on there, it's easy to see, but you have to be able to gauge it if there's color on it. So yeah, so making colored glass is really like making colored glazes for ceramics. It's just a formula to get different colors. We don't make our own color. We buy ours from there's a company in Germany and a company in Portland. They just moved from New Zealand to the States, and those are the 2 companies that I get my colored glass from. Oh, I do also want to say we've been having technical difficulties the last 2-3 sessions. It's not us.
Yeah.
Cox Cable.
They're making our lives harder right now.
Has been dropping out for everybody in the neighborhood for weeks now. So we figured it after trying to do everything we could on our end to make the lives work. We're finding out it's not our problem, it's the problem of the cable company. So if we go out and can't get back on, we'll start another live session as soon as we can. So that's just the way these lives work.
So Jennifer was asking, what music do you usually play while working in the studio?
During the day, usually it's on WWOZ, which is local radio station here. So it's different music every few hours, different kinds of music. When I'm here alone by myself, I don't know, it's old 70s, 80s rock kind of thing.
And it gets a little louder too.
Yeah, I do.
Because I could just listen along at my desk. The funny thing was Barry actually answered for you WWZ or WWOZ more than likely. I can't speak today. Oy.
Okay, so this is gather 2. See a nice even coat on top. And we'll go over and put the second layer of colors on.
Barry also said that he's been making pieces since the 90s, so it's actually more than 20 years.
I've been making pieces since the 90s. I've been making pieces. I started.
He has with you.
Oh yeah, we've been friends for a long time. Yeah, I've been blowing glass since 79 maybe. Okay, so that's my layer of color. Just gonna put one layer of the rainbow on. Sometimes I put 2 layers on, depending on what the bottom, depending on what the color is. With the rainbow, I don't want it to get too muddy by pieces crossing over with another layer on top. So I just use the one layer. As we were saying, it is actually a beautiful day today. I would like a nice fall day, but that's probably not going to happen for a while here. We had actually fall on Saturday. It was in the low 70s kind of.
I know, I missed it.
And that was our fall. So hopefully it'll come back again.
If we're lucky, we'll get another day of fall before Christmas.
So I'm going to heat this up and I'm going to do it's called feathering, which is dragging the color across the piece using a ice pick. As you see, I always have to keep turning the piece while it's in the reheating chamber. The reheating chamber is a little bit hotter than the furnace. So it's about 2150 or 2200 degrees or so, and it's just hot. There's no glass in it, so we're able to turn it on in the morning and turn it off in the evening. Comes up to temperature about an hour and a half or so. So you see I'm just dragging the color. And yes, my hand is hot.
Jennifer said that she agreed the cable companies all stink for internet.
Cable company what?
All stink.
I was reading some data, we're doing something about Cox was shutting down areas that had a lot of usage. They were
Like brownouts?
Yeah. It was very weird. You would think that they would, if the area had a lot of traffic, they would boost the traffic rather than turning it down. I don't know.
Barry said, stretch those colors.
Exactly. And then the bottom, I'm just going to do a little twist on this. Twist is a tongue-in-cheek thing. Little Rosetree twist on the feathering technique. So the color is on, the feathering's done, so I'm going to smooth this out now.
And Corey's not being nice. He said you're all dating yourselves with his 90s talk.
90s talk. When can we start talking about Van Halen? What are you talking about? 80s.
Hey, I held back my 70s reference, so...
So I'm just going to smooth that out a bit. And I'll do that a couple times to get rid of the ridges that I put in when I did my poles. So you see here, there are some ridges still in there. So I'm going to try to heat that up and get those out. You don't want ridges in the glass when I do my final gather. Ask Barry, why don't we need ridges, Barry? See if he's paying attention.
It's quiz time, Barry.
Yeah.
It always takes a second.
Wow, sure, he's got to type it out. I know that Corey knows. And I'm also going to buff it out a little bit so we'll reestablish that bubble that was in there.
Jennifer said yes, the cable companies have been shutting things down or slowing speeds because they really don't have the bandwidth for everyone working or going to school remotely.
Exactly.
Oh, Barry missed the question. What was the question again?
Why do we smooth it out before we gather? Why do we get all the ridges out?
And Doc was asking, or saying that Barry's probably at the beach.
No, I think the beach is done. One more smoothing, and then we'll let that cool off and get our final gather on top. And you see I'm turning both ways, sometimes to the left, sometimes to the right. And you keep turning in one way, you get the spin actually to spin more, but I like the way the spin is right now, so I'm just going to keep it like that.
So Barry said, so the next gather adheres properly, but Jennifer said that looks so cool, and yeah, ridges will create unwanted bubbles between gathers and create problems. And then Corey jumped in with no bubbles, because Corey knows.
Corey knows.
Well done, everybody. I love a good quiz time.
It's like a virtual class. Okay, so I like the way this is looking. So you can see the blue inside. You can see the inside gather, and then you can see the gather on top with the colors. And so I'm going to let this cool off. I'm going to let that orange kind of disappear inside. That's telling me it's too hot to get the next layer on top. If I gather too hot, the inside layer will not provide stability for the last layer, and it'll become really floppy and hard to control. So I hope everybody is using their right to vote, doing online or mail-in, or I don't know if you're going to be waiting for the 3rd. I can't imagine what the lines are going to be.
Hey, the 3 hours I waited in line was enough. I don't want to do that.
And Mark spills all over himself. Nice and cool though.
I was going to say, if only there were some place that were warm enough that could help you dry it out.
It'll be fine.
And Corey said he needs a hands-on class already.
Yep. Me and Dr. Fauci, we're still worried about the pandemic.
We listen to Fauci around here.
It's not, I just don't think we're ready for it.
Yeah.
I know some people are doing blow your ohms, but I'd hate for something to happen.
I'm gonna grab my.
Okay.
Just gonna take you guys with me real quick while I get my ice pack, and then we're gonna beat them. We're back.
So this will be my final gather. Big bubble. Alright, let's cut out a bubble here. That was a gathering bubble. Sometimes they're just bubbles in the tank and have nothing to do with the setup.
So Shaw did say that spills on tie-dye don't count.
Right?
Barry said that he can't wait. Early voting in New York City starts on Monday, and they also listen to Fauci.
I don't know why they don't do early voting.
All at the same time?
About the same time.
Yeah. Doc said
Ours
he's...
started yesterday.
Yeah. Doc said he's registered in New Jersey, so he did his mail-in ballot, easy peasy.
I actually went by the courthouse today to gauge the crowds. So I'll probably go Thursday morning, because the crowds seem to be dying down every day.
Yeah. They're not reaching to my house anymore. So Tracy said hi. She's joined us now. Corey said that the studios there in Colorado have started back already.
I'm just not totally convinced. I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Jennifer said the virus is no joke.
Right.
And we agree.
Well,
And that
is,
ice packs are necessary. Yes, thank you.
the thing is, you know, people say, well, it's only 2 weeks. Well, yeah, but it could also be 6 months. Anyway, we got on the wrong track. I said today we joined in the jocularity, and this is not jocularity. So, we're going to get back to having fun with classes.
All right, but one last comment, which was Shuri said she did mail-in all the time, all mail-in all the time in Washington State. Works great.
Good. I'm glad everybody is expressing their rights as citizens.
Yeah. I got to celebrate with a stranger this morning when I was walking my dog. She was walking back to her car and passed us, and she was super excited. I was like, "You all right?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm just excited that I went and voted." So we both cheered.
All right, so I'm doing the air trap again to blow it out a little bit more. And then I'm going to heat it up and cut in my jack line. And the jack line is going to be where we take it off of the pipe and transfer it to another rod called punty to open up the middle. So you see, I'm not letting it cool off all that much. The more you let it cool off, the longer you have to take to reheat, and that's just a waste of time. So try to keep it hot and fluid most of the time. So the tool I have in my hand is a pair of jacks. It's like it would be a pair of scissors. I don't know why it's a pair, because they're 2 blades, I guess. So I'm cutting in my jack line. And then I'm going to start blowing out the piece a little bit more. And by using using the table called the marber to cool the piece, I'll let the glass flow more out towards the top. So I'm going to heat up and shake it some more.
So Doc said that Dr. Fauci was on 60 Minutes this past Sunday and he was a rock star.
It's a rock star.
Corey said that he already had it. Sorry, Corey. Said it wasn't bad for me, but everybody gets their own choice, which safe is never bad. Oh, and Bobby just arrived. Said hey.
I was wondering what happened to Bobby. Bobby has a new job, so I don't think his hours are matching ours. Or maybe they are. Okay, so I'm blowing this out some. And just getting a rough measurement so far. And I'll do that one more time after I heat to get the size that I need.
Greg Rousseau said he's here and watching.
Who is?
Greg Rousseau.
Okay. So I'm heating that up so as I blow it out, it doesn't take as long for my reheats. You'll see the rainbow start to come out. And the thing about the rainbow is you're not going to see the reds and yellows and oranges until it cools off. They'll stay dark while it's still hot. Heating up the bottom a little bit more. I want it a little bit longer. And I'm just going to hold it down. I'm going to swing it. Hold it down like gravity. Pull it a little bit.
All right, Barry said punty time.
Punty time. So I'm flattening the bottom so it stands, it doesn't rock on the table. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another rod with a little bit of glass on it, stick it on the bottom, cut it off the top, and transfer it to that rod so that I can open up the lip and make the decoration on the top.
Blue always comes out so beautiful.
So there's a little bit of glass on the end of the punty rod. So the punty is hollow, but it's closed at the end. So you can't blow through it, but it's hollow just to keep some of the weight off of it. bottom, center it up. Diamond file with water on it. So I'm setting up that jack line to hopefully crack off right where we want. And tap.
Barry said the colors are starting to pop.
So I learned something new. I was on a Facebook group for glass blowers, and this hanger thing is called a granny. I've never heard that term before. Don't ask me why it's called a granny, but they were referring, I don't know if it was on Facebook, I forget where, but they were referring to it as a granny. So I'm going to have to research that and see why it's called a granny. Just on the lip, I gotta have enough heat at the bottom so it doesn't crack off the punty, but I want to have a lot of heat in the lip because that's where we want to shape it. Always flash the punty. That connection is very tenuous, because you want it to be able to break off easily at the end. If you fuse it on really hard now, it's going to take a big chunk out or actually crack the bottom. So the first reheat is the longest because the part of the bowl that we're heating was the coldest part when we punted. So I'm going to trim the lip, a pair of special shears. And that just evens it off. And then I will start opening, heat it up again and start opening it up. I got to put my tweezer, my little knobs in it.
Yeah. So you get a good little 4-leaf clover look there.
Yeah. So I'm going to open up a little bit more and then put the little knobs in and then open it up all the way. So again, the basic heat is at the lip. So I always reheat the punty and then come out and just concentrate on it. One more heat, I'll put the little pinches in it. Why they call it color pinch bowl, because there's little pinches around the lip. See, the piece is always in motion when it's in my hands. I don't really stop. just at the lip. Right by the door is my hottest spot. This is the way the flame runs. So I could deep heat the whole thing and just spot heat the lip by the door. One more time. Always counting my head.
And you are very good at that because I disturb you a lot and you never lose count.
Alright. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin it open a little bit more and then make a little clover shape. So I'm going to let centrifugal force kind of break the lip out. So by spinning it, it's going to move the lip away from the center axis. Squares it off a little bit. See how long it stays hot? That was a nice heat in that last one. Looks even enough.
That's great.
And I'll give it one more flash, and then I will take it off and put it in the annealing oven.
Jennifer said she loves seeing the flame shoot around the inside of the piece as you stretch it open. And I agree, it's one of my favorite parts to film.
Alright, so there you have a blue, that's a light line, a blue pinch vase. The colors will be a little bit different when we get out of the oven in the morning. So if I put the honey on correctly, a tap or two, take that off. So you have to be very gentle with it while you're working, because if you put it down too hard on the bench, it'll jump off. So this is a Oxy Propane Torch, which I'm smoothing out the cutty mark so that nobody gets cut.
Barry said it's beautiful. Uh-oh. A lot of wind in here.
And there you go. That is a blue pinch bowl. Darcy, why don't you take them over to the pumpkins again while I close the L'Oreal there?
Sir, yes, sir. A quick reminder, we've got our minis and our grandes. So on each one it says mini, or grande, so you know the price you're getting. I will say that I think this guy is my favorite. It's the only double blue one I've seen.
Nice little pretty stems and additions on it. And we'll come back over here. And once again, I forgot to explain what happened at the end. That's called an annealing oven, and the annealing oven is 920 degrees or so. When the piece is put in there, the piece is still a little cooler on the foot, hotter on the lip, because the lip is what we were shaping. And the whole piece stabilizes at 920 degrees, and then it slowly comes down to room temperature overnight, about 16 hours or so, to relieve the stress in the piece as it's being made. So if I just let the piece out to cool on its own, it would go from hot to cold too fast and would crack. So any other questions?
Well, Jerry Lynn said she loves glass pumpkin season, and I do too. Yes. And then Jennifer was asking, why do some pieces go in an annealing oven open end up versus open end down? Oh, whether it's sitting up like this or sitting down.
It depends on the bottom. So the bowls the bottom should sit flat, so they go in flat. The other pieces in there were pendant lights, so the top is rounded, so I can't put it in the other way. I can't put it in lip up. I have to put it lip down. It just depends on the shape. All right.
That's it.
So, thank you all for coming. As I implore every week, twice a week at least, support your local businesses. They're the ones that can really use your money. Amazon and all those big companies don't need your money. Your money better spent locally to be reinvested back in the local economy. So that's my soapbox, and you're going to hear it every time you tune in. Anyway, so buy local, go to local restaurants. Some of them are opening up and actually doing indoor seating, which is great. Get some more money into the local economy. If you need any blown glass, we're the place. So you just come to www.rosetreegallery.com. The full virtual pumpkin patch is on there. Facebook, Rosetree Blown Glass. Instagram, Rosetree Glass Gallery. YouTube, all of these are on YouTube. Rosetree Blown Glass Studio and Gallery. So thank y'all for coming. As always, take care of one another, love one another. We'll see you on Thursday, and who knows what we'll be making. It'll be something really cool. All right, take care.